What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka the Center of Chaos and Controversy, and this video, I'm doing this mainly and partly because, in some of my earlier content, um, in my earlier videos, and even a little bit touching base upon in some of my recent ones, I briefly hit upon talking about myself or inserting myself and as a point of reference, especially when it comes to talking about interracial relationships, me being a biracial individual, and I think it was one of my followers or subscribers that had asked me, you know, you briefly touch upon this, but you don't really talk about it in its entirety. And out of curiosity, I want to know what your thoughts are about the position that biracial people play when it comes to how they identify themselves here in America. I said, okay, that's a legitimate question. That's an interesting topic to touch upon. But before I dive into that, I just want to address something real quick. Okay, I'm gonna try to be real quick about this. I appreciate everybody that has subscribed to me. I appreciate the followers. I appreciate those whether I, you know, post something and it invites you in to think about whatever it is that I post, something that I have discussed, mentioned, and you had pretty much shared your shared your input on whether you agreed or disagreed, and um, to much respect, I appreciate that. Um, One of the things I do want to address and point out, and it's something that I've made a video about. And if you go down my videos, and when I first started out, I touched upon this, and I had addressed this under my YouTube studio. I get the notification that somebody had made a comment under whatever video that they decided to address. Okay, excuse me, and the notification gets my attention, and then I wait for it to post under YouTube, and then I can generally go to whatever video it is, review the comment, and then either hit the like and whatever, or um, answer whatever, or respond. What I find to be an issue is that I don't know if it's the YouTube algorithm or whatever the case may be, or if some of the contents get monetized, or get shadow banned, or whatever the case may be. I want people to understand I don't delete comments. I've stated before, I'm a big advocate of those who share their thoughts, share their opinions, their agreements, their disagreements, their point of views, their perspectives, or what have you. I'm not one of those people that get butthurt, go the vindictive route, feel some kind of way, get easily offended, and feel like, oh, just because I don't agree with what this person has said to me or whatever the comment is, that, oh, I'm going to go and delete it. No. Talk about transparency. No, because I want people in the comment section to either have their opinions, presented to where other people can respond, myself included, and we can have this open discussion, this open dialogue in the chat. But I notice when I go into particular videos, here's a good example. I'll see maybe under that video it says 13 comments. I go to click on the comments, I see maybe 5 out of the 13. I'm like, okay, so where's the rest of the comments? And I go back to the YouTube studio, and I'm looking to see, okay, where's this comment that was highlighted? Can't find it. Like I said, I'm not well versed in this whole YouTube thing. I usually ask questions to other content creators. Hey, I ran into this little snag right here. How do I correct this? Or how do I look this up? And hey, I want to do this. How do I delete this video? What steps do I have to do in order to do that? And usually some of the content creators are humble enough to walk me through or give their input or suggestions and say, hey, this is the route that you have to take, or here's what you do here. And I learn as I go. Like I said, I only have this phone that I'm working with. When I get a little more, how should I say, uh, acquainted with my channel and how I could expand, broad and beyond what I have to work with right here, maybe I'll be able to do a little more than what I'm giving you as far as content is concerned. Now, to get back to the subject at hand, okay? That was my brief public announcement. Anyway, my thoughts on those who are biracial, their placement in society, the ups, the downs, the pros, the cons, the positives and the negatives. It's an interesting topic to discuss. Now, what I'm going to share as far as the details and the content is concerned surrounding this particular topic of discussion is based on mostly my personal experience as being a person who is biracial. What I've seen other people post under their content, some of the other experiences from other people that I've had the privilege to sit down and have these conversations with one-on-one personally. And here's what I took from it. Sharing this personally, I feel that in regards to people being in an interracial relationship and having kids that are mixed or biracial, you would think that it would eliminate the whole concept or the dispute or the debates or the conflicts when it comes to race, because now you got two races meshed into one, right? When it comes through the children, and you're hoping that through the children they don't have the type of ignorance that the adults have and they can be better. I think that's the general ideology behind it for some people. Some people it's a fetish based on, oh, I want to have these mixed kids, and then here you go, the mixed kid, whatever. And then it's just people coming together because it's just people. They look at the person for who they are, not what their skin tone is or what their ethnic background consists of or whatever the case may be, that plays into the whole trivial nonsense that we tend to stay focused on, I included. But that's some of the positives. Now for me, my history. My mom, she was Polish and Irish, and my father, based on apparent reasons, as you can see, that's quite obvious, was black. Now, I was robbed of the opportunity to get to know my parents because my mom, before I was able to reach the age of 1, had committed suicide. I don't know if she was dealing with depression. I don't know if she was an addict. I don't know if it was because of some racial shit, because she got involved with somebody who was black and her family didn't accept her, because that may have explained why I was put up for adoption, because I was unwanted by her family, because she didn't disclose who my father was. That was the secret that she took with her to the grave. Now, I do have a photo album of when I was born. I do have pictures of what my biological mother looked like, who she was, and there's not many photos. And she left me some money in the little doggy piggy bank or whatever, and excuse me, and that's about it. How I felt about it, well, there was a little bit of envy when it came to my sister, who also was adopted from a different family. Now, mind you, I told people that I was adopted into an all-black family, and as far as the identity, um, who I identified as, I identified with being black. That was what was on my birth certificate, driver's license, and whenever I had to fill out any forms, when it came to race, whatever. Now I don't even bother entertaining checking off that box because what's the relevance? Um, but I used to envy my sister because she was still able to keep in contact with her mom and her dad when he was still alive before he ended up passing away. And I would say that's about it. Now, opinion wise, I think, or I feel that the negatives is when you have, the whole white versus black, and then you have a kid in the middle, and when he's introduced to society, or when he's socializing or she's socializing, and they're trying to figure out, well, who do I identify with? Do I identify with the white people, um, to be accepted from them, or do I identify with the black people to be accepted from them, or where do I fit in? And sometimes, depending on, again, the demographics, because you can have a mixed family and they can be in a high class society, and it's sad to say that 9 times out of 10, or for the most part, depending on what class they're in, the kid might identify as white, or favor the white side more so than they would those who are black. Okay? Again, depending on the demographics, if you have mixed people that are in the middle or lower class, you might find that the kid would find favoritism to those who are mostly black. Here's where the problem comes into play: the acceptance. Where I think a lot of people who are mixed get turned off is when, in the black community, you'll find it's more so with the females than you do with the males, based on what I've observed. There's always that competition or that dislike for whatever reason. You'll have black girls who with darker skin that look at the mixed kids and call them high yellow, or they think that they're better than them, or oh, you think because you got this good hair or the nice eyes or the nice skin tone or whatever that you this and this and that. And then if you have like a lot of the black guys that pay more attention to the mixed girl, then you get jealousy and envy from a lot of these black chicks that might look down on a girl who's mixed because of the attention that she's getting. Then here come the shit talking. And then that creates a problem, because then that might be the factoring, that might be one of the things that factor into the equation as to why you see some of these biracial kids that really don't care too much about like some of the people in the black community because of the experience. So basically, it's the experiences, for the most part, that might shape the perspective of the people that interact socially. Now, for those that live in the privilege, I would say, they might say, for the guys, and this is where I see this through the observation. They may or may not be accepted, or they might be accepted and they only white women. Okay. I wouldn't say necessarily that they feel that they better, but you have to wonder what the parents are teaching them in the home. Like when there's a family reunion, what's the family dynamic like? Is it organic? You know, is the black side and the white side getting along? You know, do they have similar, you know, interests? You know, whether it's politics, sports, talks about the jobs or whatever, status or what have you. I don't know. I'm not rich. I've come from a upper middle class, so to speak. My parents did work hard. They had money, you know, and we lived in the inner city of Hartford, Connecticut, throughout most of my childhood up until my late teens, and moved out to Colchester when I was like in my early 20s. When my parents moved ahead with my sister, I stayed back. Um, but I saw the difference, like as they would say, the tale of two cities. I saw what it was like in the predominant black areas versus the predominant white areas. As far as dating goes, I've also shared this experience for some time. I didn't even give a white girl a second look. My main focus was on black and Puerto Rican. That was who I was running towards. That was where my interest lied. As a matter of fact, when it comes to the identity, uh, not funny, but a lot of people right off the bat thought that I was Puerto Rican because I had the curly hair, straight. Um, if you see some of the videos with my son, basically he's just like a lighter version of what I looked like when I was a baby, when I was a kid, when I was his age. You know, but if you see how his hair is, that's exactly how my hair was. Um, but I didn't get offended when a lot of people thought that I was Puerto Rican. You know, I took it as a compliment. I didn't find anything negative about the reference or the assumption. But then when I moved to different demographics, and I saw what it mostly consisted of, which was white females and stuff. Yeah, I was curious. Okay, what's this all about? And then I decided to date white women. You know, but it wasn't solely, oh, I just completely left black or Hispanic or anybody else alone. No, that wasn't the case. Because I still dated black and Puerto Rican and white, even females who were like me, mixed. Okay? So, I'm trying to debunk a lot of myths here because a lot of people are just like headstrong and firmly believe one thing when it comes to people who are mixed. I'll tell you, besides the question that somebody had asked me, it was something that somebody stated, and it didn't sit well with me. There was this, and this was recent. I wanted to do a story on it, but I just like, nah. Because I pick and choose what stories I want to cover and highlight. But you guys could look it up. It was this mixed kid that went to go visit his girlfriend. This cop, I guess, thought that because he was wearing all black, he didn't belong in the neighborhood. He looked suspicious, so he followed him onto the property of this young man's girlfriend. And the young kid was on his phone trying to text and get a hold of his girlfriend so she could come out. Now, where he was standing, it was like this concrete, I don't know what it was, but it was like in the form of a circle. Looked like a fucking well if you ask me, right? Not like a well, but just like, you know, in a nice neighborhood how they have their landscaping and stuff like that. And the cop was on the other side of it. Well, the cop tased the kid, and the kid fell completely back onto that damn well thing, chipped the fucking brick right off of it, and was laying there, and the cop, you know, arrested him. Which is unnecessary. Now, here's where the justification came in for what the cop did. After the cop tased him, had him detained, started going through his personal, you know, and pulled out weed. That's all you can really get at the kid. But prior to that, the cop really had no business interacting with the kid. If the guy said, "Hey, why are you here?" Okay, then we'll wait until the people come out, and then, oh, this your boyfriend? All right, no problem. But no, this is the problem with policing. They always want to fish for something. They feel like, oh, hey, you don't look like you belong here, and you get a lot of that. Now, the comment that kind of turned me off was someone said, yeah, these biracial people are going to get their wake-up call. What the fuck do you mean by that? Explain to me what the wake-up call is that you believe. Oh, because you feel that just because we're mixed, that we just disown our blackness or something like that? Is that what you automatically assumed? Was that what you was getting at? Because I myself share the experiences of just because that I'm mixed, I didn't, not for 1 minute, think that I was exempt from anything that black people would go through. The possibilities of what they might go through. And if I had made it to where there was no incident, then, hey, I was one of the fucking lucky ones. Unfortunately, yeah, I've had my interactions with the police. I've been beat the fuck up by the police in Willimantic, Connecticut. Just because I pulled out of a driveway and it was gravel, so my tires spun a little bit. And instead of stopping me right there, they followed me all the way up into Blockbuster. Waited till I got out, put the movie in a little slot, and then want to insert themselves into my morning routine, which I was on my way to work. Didn't make it because I got my ass whooped. Needless to say, I did what I had to do. I did my 2 years probation, got my record expunged, and I sued the shit out of the Willimantic Police Department. And I had no prior records. Imagine that. So, yeah. So that was that. I shared a story that, well, my dad actually enlightened me that it was twice this happened. That when we moved to Chester Street in Hartford, Connecticut, we was one of the first and only black people to move into the neighborhood, which only consisted of, at the time, Italian, Portuguese, and Polish. And my dad had the cops called on them because they're like, oh, there's black people in the neighborhood. And my dad had to prove that, they had just bought the house. The people who previously owned it, they had went on a vacation, and it was an unfortunate incident. Their older daughter decided to throw a pool party, and things got out of hand, and she ended up slipping and cracking her head on the diving board and drowning in the pool. So they felt that they didn't want to be there anymore, so they ended up selling my parents the house. Then I also shared the story when my parents moved to Colchester, and how my dad was one morning got up, decided to go check out, what he wanted to do in the yard, and somebody called the cops on him and said that there was a suspicious person in the neighborhood, and had the troopers come down the driveway. And my dad's in a fucking house coat, fucking pajama pants, got a cup of coffee, cigarette, sitting there. And he's like, what the fuck is this shit going on? Cops come on, hey, do you live here? And I'm coming out the house because I was ready to go to work. And he said, yeah, I live here. Do you have any ID on you? So my dad went in the house. As a matter of fact, he had me go in the house, and I had to ask my mom to get his wallet, and she gave me his license. And then she came to the door, and she's like, what's this all about? And I said, yeah, somebody called the cops and said something to the effect of, there was a suspicious person in the neighborhood. And my mom just rolled her eyes, sucked her teeth, and went back in the house like, I ain't got time for this bullshit. So I handed my dad the license, who he in return handed the cops, and then he told the cops, now you could tell whoever done made this bogus fucking phone call that I'm a American citizen, I do work. I have a good job. Yes, I can afford to live in this neighborhood, and basically told the cops and them to go fuck themselves, pretty much. But that was another experience. And then I had an experience when I was working in fucking Stop and Shop. I had a rude ass customer, and I was trying to do her a favor because what we had on sale at the time for rotisserie chicken, we didn't have that particular flavor. So I decided to say, hey, you know what? I'll substitute the price for the flavors that's not on sale, and I'll give you whatever you want for that sale price. She said, fine. Then she came back being all rude and decided to call me a fucking nigger. What it was, she wanted to get something for free. So she had to create a fucking scene. And then I went right the fuck back off on her. And then she decided to go get the manager. But then all the other fucking customers was like, oh, hold up, wait a minute, nope, do not fucking punish this employee because of this rude ass bitch. She called him a fucking nigger. And then the store manager was sitting there just looking dumbfounded, like, what do I fucking do? Your fucking job. Customers ain't always right. Okay? So that was another experience I had. On the other coworkers, I want to say them directly, but even some of the foremen, some of the boss, racist as hell. And this is me being in predominant white towns and stuff. But I have to like brush it off and stuff. I can't let it just affect me. Or when I would go to the bars and I hear all that racist banner and people calling me the N-word either to me or behind my back. So I never felt that I was exempt from the ignorance coming from some of these people in society. And I didn't feel that I was better than, because I told people, hey, I was subjected to bad experiences with black people as well. I had to fight some of these people that were gang affiliated. I myself was fucking robbed by black people. I had black people tell me I wasn't even fucking black enough. I'm like, how you figure? You know, I had some females who didn't want to date me because I was fucking mixed. I mean, to each his own, right? You know? So I've dealt with shit from both sides of the fence. And I've had to tell both black people and white people alike, look, let me make some clarification on certain things. Let me inform you on things that you might have been ignorant on. Let me open up your eyes to something that, you know, you might have been closed-minded about. And yes, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like sometimes I feel like people who are mixed or biracial, we're often misplaced because of the negativity that or the favoritism of one side versus the other. And I don't feel like that it's fair that kids have to choose to pick sides with parents. You know, a good movie that kind of touched a little bit upon the subject matter of being mixed was the movie where I think it had Anthony Hopkins. I forgot who the actor's name is that played him as the younger version, but he was from Prison Break. But he's actually mixed. He's actually half black and half white in real life. And Nicole Kidman, she was there. But that movie, a lot of people should check out. Whatever, it's pretty good. And there's another movie that's like old black and white one where I think the girl was a high yellow or some shit, and her mom was black, but she felt ashamed of her mom being black, and she only wanted to identify as being white, and she didn't want nobody to know she had a black mother. Damn, it's an old black and white movie. I gotta look that shit up. I remember watching that too. But I think there's some unfair pressure when it comes to people who are mixed, and they don't know what some of these experiences consist of, or some of what or why, when you come across a person who is mixed or biracial, why they have the attitudes that they have. And maybe it's because based on their experiences, they were pushed to look at things from a certain lens. Is it right? Who's to say? Can I understand to a degree? Absolutely. But that's with any of us. I mean, like sometimes, like when I talk to people in general, now getting off of the whole me being biracial and what I think about other people who are biracial. Um, 9 times out of 10, when I talk to white people who have a distaste for black people, they'll tell me these are my experiences. This is what I ran into. I wasn't accepted. You know, I was always bullied. I was always this, and black people fucking fucked me up, or they beat me up and stuff like that, or whatever. Again, based on demographics. But then when they come across a person like me, I kind of like shed them of certain prejudices and stereotypes and stuff like that. Same with black people. When it comes to white people, I'll be like, yeah, I understand that there's some ignorant, racist ass white motherfuckers. However, if and this is where I kind of get some of these pro-black people a little pissed off with me. I said, however, how do you conveniently discount the white people that were for the civil rights, that did help black people fight for equality, that have helped black people get out of tough predicaments, got them a better education, got them better jobs, sacrificed their positions so that the black person can have something better for them and their family. They were selfless. But when you conveniently try to push a one-sided narrative, you're not trying to hear all of that shit. You don't want to hear the truth about certain things because it goes against what it is that you're trying to present to others. And then you'll have some white people tell you about how there's been black people who have helped them, that they didn't think out of a million years that shit would happen, because their perception what and their conditioning mindset was based off of what they saw on the media, what the news always said that what black people were like. When I go to talk about certain content creators, when they have you thinking that all black people are like this, watch out, we're savages. No. There are many of us that have a good head on our shoulders. There are many of us that, see people as being people. Know that a lot of us are in the same boat when it comes to certain hardships. Sometimes I think what people need to do, instead of looking at other people or other areas and say, hey, that's the reason for the divide, or blah, 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 these people and these people, maybe you should look at yourself and say, what are you doing to correct the problem? Because all I hear is bitching and complaining, or finger pointing, or scapegoating. The boogeyman complex. We still have some ways to go if we really want to talk about actual identity. Because I guarantee you, when we step foot out of this country, I don't care what you are, if you're black, white, mixed, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, what have you, our culture is very distinguishable. People can say, oh, you're an American. How would they know? Because I promise you, I promise you, because a lot of what my sister had said when she did her tours in the in the military, that they're like, oh, you like when she dressed in civilian and she went outside of her, um, they're like, oh, you American? They know, they know. And the first thing they ain't gonna address you is, oh, you black or you white or you this or you that. Oh, you're an American. But when we leave these foreign lands and come back home, we come back home to hyphen identities. And that's a problem. It's a problem when you go and fill out forms, whether it's for your insurance, what race are you? When you go to a job, what race are you? When you go to fill out whatever, I don't know, to get food stamps, what race are you? And then you have to question, what does it matter? What's the purpose of me having to put down on a piece of paper what I identify as? White, black, Hispanic, Indian, Asian, or other. That sounds familiar, right? Does it not? Or when you go to fill out forms for a loan or something like that, those are the questions that they ask you. But anyway, um, I hope this was a good talk. I hope I've answered some questions. I know I didn't cover everything that people probably wanted me to touch upon, but like I said, a lot of it will be solely based on my experiences. I've heard a little um, input coming from other people who are mixed, but not much. So this is the reason why I can't really elaborate on this particular topic. But some of what I shared is what has been addressed to me and what I've seen for myself. But anyway, until next time, until next video, please like, share, and subscribe. And hold up, this ain't a Dos Equis commercial. Stay thirsty, my friends. Now I can say it. Peace.